have that kind of corn in your rotation,
Well,
right?
well, not very often,
Okay.
because you can see the way the leaves are rolled up on
Right.
that. Corn does not like salinity.
Yeah. No, but you were talking about
Yeah.
in your other place where you were maybe in Rainbow. Or,
Yeah, in Rainbow,
Yeah.
because that's a little better quality water.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like corn when it's growing. I mean, it grows really tall, but it's sorghum, and it uses less water, and as a summer crop, and it makes the grain head on top of the plant, even though it may be 8 or 10 feet tall.
Yeah.
Instead of like corn. When you look at it, people see it growing out there. Oh, you're growing corn. No, it's not corn.
Right. And you do any cotton down here or no?
Yes. Matter of fact, this field, that's what we're saying, that the university is supposed to be out here Monday.
All right.
And it better be ready. So the guys with the balers, they're already baling.
Right.
They're making about 2 tons of straw per acre.
Wow.
And normally we don't do that. All of the only fields that we're doing are just the ones that
You're going to put the cotton in.
yeah, that we need it very quickly. In Rainbow Valley, we're not. We've already planted it because that's new to our rotation.
Right.
We want the straw there.
Yeah.
And so it's the fields that we're going to plant to leave out and not plant them at all, or plant them into alfalfa next year, because we'll skip that forage sorghum because of the water cost.
Yeah.
We may just drill alfalfa seed directly into that stubble.
Oh, wow.
It's the best way to do that so that we don't have to keep doing tractor work.
Right, exactly.
But
How do you find your yields evolve with your rotation? Because given that you're not tilling and you're building soil health, are your yields?
not much. We
Not
don't
much.
see much. Like this wheat, we think that it should be making around 3.5 tons per acre, so a little over 7,000 pounds.
Yeah.
Be a good yield for us.
This is your land on the left?
Yeah.
Yeah, all this is farmed when
This is actually wheat harvesting.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
We just hire those guys to
Custom.
custom cut it.
Okay, back and got a clip.
And where they've already made a pass, that was for, they call the carnal bunt testing. Years ago,
Oh, right.
we had some carnal bunt discovered, and it's not a detriment to humans or animals, but it's a trade barrier.
Oh, wow.
We originally implemented it to keep Mexican wheat from coming into here.
And now we have.
And now it's
we have to pay
bass
the
apple.
piper.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, isn't that how it is, right? Sometimes you'd be better off.
But
leaving
it's
things
been
alone.
several years since
You got that issue.
they've had any positive
Yeah.
tests,
Right.
but we're still obligated to, because the protocol requires us to have 5 years of tillage between the crops to get counted. You have to go 5 years without a positive test. Well,
Right.
but if it's when it's in alfalfa, you don't till it for at least
right.
3 years,
Right.
and then because our tillage is so limited anyway, we ask, is that really considered tillage if we just run we have a little vertical tillage tool that we use behind cotton, because under our rules of phytosanitary rules, we have to destroy our stalks so they don't regrow. I mean, cotton is really a perennial
Yeah.
that we grow as an annual,
Right.
and we have to, by rule that we put on ourselves, cotton growers got it passed, you have to dislodge the roots from the soil. It used to be a plow requirement, and guys like
Now
me
you-
that
now
we
you
don't
can just-
plow.
Now
well,
you can just turn this.
Yeah.
You can do some tillage while you're. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this you across the way too?
Yes.
Okay. And if I understood you right, basically in the next, I don't know, 5 to 10 years between the freeway and development, none of this area will be farmed.
That's very correct. I mean, it's all that on the north side of the road.
Yeah.
As soon as this crop is done, that's the last crop. It's going to be in buildings.
That must be something for you because you've seen your whole life here.
Yeah.
How about your Parents would be shocked to see how it looks here now.
Oh yeah. Oh man. It's hard for me to believe. You drive around and see all this stuff. It's kind of interesting. That ditch with water in it over there, we always captured some water out of that drainage over a little further east.
Yeah.
From all the farmlands up to the north. Well, guess what? Just in the last 2 years, it's just gone away.
Wow.
There is no
Capture.
runoff water from anybody else, and we're obligated now to.
Get-
Just
get-
those lands further west don't have any water, so we're running water from our other property all the way down there. I just wanted to show you some of these. Now that piece of farmland right over there, well, the bottom part's grown up in weeds, but
Right.
2 years ago, that whole 160 was actively cropped by us.
Okay, so you've already been letting go of pieces.
Oh yeah,
What about this baseball complex?
yeah. Well, this was all farmland before that.
Yeah.
But we weren't farming it then, but we
Yeah.
took over 1,500 acres of leases from another farmer up here in this area in 2017, and we're very close to having none of it left
Yeah.
remaining. I mean, I get so many calls every day, and that's one of the things that let Ross handle now. My two nephews are quite a bit older than him, and they're the ones that are adept at farming, so they're making all the farming happen, and I'm training him as my replacement because I'm the one that always dealt with landlords and leases and land sales and purchases and all of that stuff, and his master's in legal studies is just like first year of law school, so
Yeah.
it's basically contract law and all that stuff like that. Things that took me 40 years to learn the hard way
Yeah,
by
exactly.
making mistakes.
Yeah, I mean, there's something to be gained by getting a lot of that knowledge up front.
Yeah. These two little alfalfa fields were still farming then. They just cut the hay on it the other day. The north one I know is already, we got a notice on it, so we'll just keep farming it until they're,
So they develop it.
come in and start moving dirt.
And what would the water from here again would just be ground?
No, this in here is from a
Salt.
different district. This is a water district, but it's kind of an interesting district. There, all the water is groundwater, but the majority of it came from the Salt River Project. In the early years, they had to create a drainage district because they were applying new surface water sources. And what happened? The lower quadrant of that project started getting water built up underneath it. So they built a whole system with a canal and wells scattered all the way across it, and they brought it past the Oliver River in a big flume, and then started irrigating all these lands over here.
Interesting.
Yeah,
So you're
just-
also using recovered water over here from another area. Right?
Yeah. Well, and now, of course, they had a big legal challenge over that, and I think they just settled it between Salt River Project and RID. Salt River Project, I guess, claimed that the contract had ended, and they didn't want them taking water out of the district anymore because they hardly have, from 200,000 acres down to about 20,000
Right.
acres. That's where they are today. We farmed all of this. Just 2 years ago was the last crop on this, and boy, they just jumped on it. That piece was part of it.
Yeah, on the way out. Yeah.
You said you farmed on this ground that is now the fulfillment center?
Yes,
2 years ago?
yes.
That's fucking crazy. Excuse the French.
Yeah, this is all in the Roosevelt Irrigation District, so it was district water. Didn't have to have any private wells on it. But some of the original, years ago when they were owned by different families, I still remember some of the ones that had them. Well, they would have their own water recovery systems. I mean, the conservation measures. I mean, people think it's something new. Well,
Been doing it for a long
within the last 50 years, yeah, guys have been capturing that water. I mean, anybody that's a grower, for crying out loud, you're paying money for that water. You think you're going to let any get away from you or get by you that, or put on any more than you absolutely think the crop needs? Heck no. This over in here is kind of interesting. There's been a couple of people do some surveys on it. So you know you're getting ready to lose it when the guy calls up and says, hey, we want to do some geotech drilling on those fields.
So this is another one of your
Yeah.
pieces. Wow. So you are kind of patched
Yeah.
now, right? And places where you were are gone. Yeah, I get it.
Well, and it's presenting new concerns because for us to send a tractor
I was
over
going to
here,
say, getting a tractor here would be no fun.
well, those combines, I mean, they have to take the headers off just to
Right.
move from the field down there to this
Right.
one over here.
Right. And even getting down the road, getting entry.
Yeah. I mean, just the machine itself takes up more than a lane of
Right.
traffic.
Right.
With the 35-foot header, they're sure not going to. But see, got to have places for people